Okay guys, we got another one here about some internal Home Office documents that have been leaked to The Independent because they are talking about why the decision was taken to stick imported Labour voters in the Penley and Napier camps. As we expected, this was done to help the Home Office worm out of the scandal that had them putting every new arrival in a nice four-star hotel to the point where they had filled up many around the country. This was first exposed by the likes of Active Patriot, the Little Veteran, and many others long before the likes of Nigel Farage caught wind of it. Nigel Farage, as you know, just got it the attention it deserved and took the credit for it, as have many other people with claims that they told you this back then and all that bollocks. Realistically, the guys on the ground did all the work. Everyone talking about it after is just piggybacking off it, including myself. The same is obviously true for the barracks at Napier and Penley. The people on the ground live streaming and recording put the work in to expose that to the country and force the Home Office shitweasels to squirm in their seats. But the Independent, as I said, has got some internal documents proving some of this, but obviously being the Independent, they also had to run serious damage control for the illegal immigrants that burned down a military facility. Their article headlines, Home Office put refugees in barracks after fears better housing would undermine confidence in the system. And no, what they mean by that is it would undermine confidence in the government and pretty piss poor Patel. Obviously, it wasn't a very good look for her leading the Home Office, sticking all these migrants in four-star hotels, absolutely filling them to the brim, when there's schools and all kinds of things next door. These people obviously haven't been vetted, let's be honest. A few of them have been arrested for rape and shit like that. It says the Home Office placed hundreds of asylum seekers in controversial military barracks following fears that better accommodation would undermine confidence in the system, internal documents reveal. Concerns have been mounting about the conditions in two Ministry of Defence MOD sites known as Napier Barracks in Folkestone, Kent and Penley Barracks in Pembrokeshire. Since they were repurposed for housing asylum seekers last September, campaigners, lawyers and humanitarian groups have reported poor access to healthcare and legal advice, as well as concerns over coronavirus safety. Because obviously, barracks are good enough for soldiers and things like that, but not good enough for people who have slept on the streets, come over in a dinghy, lived in a little camp in fucking France, and stole likely everything just so they could eat. No, living in a barracks and getting everything provided for you, mobile phones and money, is a terrible life. Can you fucking believe this shit? But here we have one of the best bits of the whole article though. Napier Barracks burst into flames on Friday, and asylum seekers say they have suffered electricity and hot water outages since the fire, with Kent police saying 5 men have been arrested after a disturbance at the camp. When in actual fact it turns out that is more like 14. Why are they lying about that? Oh, actually, we know why, because it's the Independent and they're on full damage control. The Napier Barracks burst into flames on Friday shows that beyond all doubt. I am actually finding myself questioning if it wasn't the Independent that wrote that letter forum that local media was pointing out the other day. You know, the damage control one that I reported on just after it come out. It goes on, it's now emerged that the Home Office, in its equality impact assessment of the plans to use MOD sites to house asylum seekers, justifies the move by stating that housing these individuals in more generous accommodation would undermine public confidence in the asylum system. No, it would undermine public confidence in the Home Office and pretty piss poor Patel. That is obviously why that has been done. Critics say the document shows ministers pandering to prejudice and jeopardising health for political ends. No, they're just covering their arse, which is all they've been doing all year. Not just in relation to this, let me tell you. It says any provisions of support over and beyond what is necessary to enable the individuals to meet their housing and subsistence needs could undermine public confidence and hamper wider efforts to tackle prejudice and promote understanding within the general community and amongst other migrant groups, it states. Yes, because obviously not just Brits are going to be moaning about this. Other migrant groups who have come here and not had all the benefits that these people are getting are going to be rightly pissed off. You know, the left and all these people that support this bullshit scream about inequality. Well, it's not just the Brits that will end up losing out if they allow this shit to continue, which obviously they will. It's the Tory government. Much like Labour, they do love a good old bit of immigration. They just like to make you think that they don't. But as I said at the beginning, literally all of this is just showing what we already knew. Pretty piss poor Patel and the Home Office thought it would be a good idea to stick these people in military barracks because obviously we were all moaning about them being put in four-star hotels. Of course, the Home Office and pretty piss poor Patel do not live in the real world. We do not support that in the fucking slightest. Send them straight back home like you said you would. Now literally the rest of the article is just taken up by people moaning about the welfare of these fuckers in the camp. I don't really care about that. If it's that bad, ask the Home Office to send you fucking home. They can literally do it. Of course, we know it's not that bad because at the end of the day, these barracks are there to support soldiers. Yes, they might not be the greatest of conditions, but they are good enough for you to sleep in at least. Especially when you factor in you don't have any fucking right to be here. But once again, the Independent here has shown us to be the piss poor rag that we all knew it was. Coming out and saying that the Napier Barracks facility actually burst into flames is fucking laughable. It didn't burst into flames. 14 people have been arrested for arson. If that's what bursting into flames is, then fuck me, every other fire that's ever happened literally around the world just burst into flames, because apparently no one can start them. I guarantee if it was one of the local residents who had charged in there and tried to burn the building down, the Independent would not be saying it burst into flames. They would say some racist bigot has tried to burn it down and kill multiple people. Obviously, that wouldn't be true, but that is what they would run with. Showing, as we know, that the Independent are a bunch of snivelling shitweasels, but we've known this for a long time already. It's always good when they prove it yet again, though.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.